I'm going to tell you guys about protein sources like that are from like worst to best in India, and I'm also going to tell you guys about its proteins bioavailability, its biological value, and after that I'm going to tell you like how to make like vegetarian sources into complete protein, and after that I'm going to explain you the structure of protein and different types of amino acids in it. I'll tell you how does protein actually get digested. First place there is like sausages, salami and bacon, ham, that are like processed meats. Like they are after the normal meat which we get, they are like chemicals are thrown into them, and they are processed for the to increase the shelf life and so that it tastes good. In sausages, salt, sodium nitrate, and pork and ham are used. Convert them into cancer-causing ingredients and compounds. And nitrates are compounds that consist of oxygen atoms. Consist of nitrogen. Nitrite, it forms nitrate, which forms nitric oxide. Nitric oxide, that's good, or nitroamines, that's bad. Nitric oxide dilates the blood vessel, like it makes it like wider, and it also like lowers our blood pressure level, body of doing its function. Its function is carrying enough oxygen like from heart to brain, and again it goes to lungs. This function that is there, that is like damaged when the blood pressure is lowered. Nitric oxide does increase physical performance. Then causes cancer in living tissues, that is present in nitrosomes that are bad for us, that we get from sausages and hot dogs and all this stuff that are processed meat. As nitrosamines are present and a lot of chemicals are used while preparation of processed meat, they are not basically good for us for eating them, and they almost have the lowest bioavailability of all, biological value of all. Is how much protein is in it, how much fat is in it, how much carb is in it. Biological value is how fast is that certain thing getting digested in our body. Protein in milk is 10 gram and carb in it is 10 gram. Then the bioavailability is almost half, like 40 or 50%. It's not a lean source of like, it's not completely like 20 gram it's there, 20 gram it's not protein. So it's basically very low in bioavailability of protein. So as bioavailability is less, in that biological value is more, because the ratio is like not completely protein and carb and fat also present, right? So if carb and fat are also present and it's more than or equal to that protein thing that's present in that certain food, then we can say that in that biological value is more. Presence of carb and fat is there. That's the reason behind it. Whey protein is the top thing that's there, which has more bioavailability. Like it's the most leanest source of protein. So how is whey made? Whey is like first we make paneer, right? When we boil the milk and we add of lemon in it, and we keep on stirring it like that, and if we heat it for some more time, then when we filter it, a green colored liquid comes out, and another side we get paneer. That green colored liquid that's present, that is from that whey protein is extracted. Availability is 104 to 150. Has 100 in bioavailability, and milk has 90. It has 84 and fish is 80. Meat is 78 and soya beans it has 73 and nuts it has 68, and whole wheat foods that are present like whole wheat roti, whole wheat bread, whole wheat pasta, all these things have 64, and beans have 56. There is more biological value, there is less digestion and less absorption of it, because there is only protein in it, and protein less than fats, but it takes more time than carbohydrate to like get digested in our system. So as the bioavailability is more, the biological value is less. Going from whey protein to kidney beans, as we keep like coming down, there what is happening is the bioavailability is decreasing. If there are two foods that have less biological value and if they are combined, the biological value of that certain meal that we are eating, it increases. An example of this is rice and beans. Rice and beans, cup of rice and beans has 12 gram protein, 10 gram fiber to make complete protein. Remaining 7 aminos are there in it. Like rice has lysine, 1 cup of it has 4 grams of protein. And kidney beans has leucine, lysine, valine and methionine too. If we have too much protein or too much fat or too much carb than necessary, it stores as backup energy. It becomes of like fat, but it's not actually the amount of protein we are having or amount of carbs we are having that determines the weight loss or weight gain. It's actually a caloric surplus or a caloric deficit. If we are eating more calories, we'll gain weight, and if we are eating less calories, we'll lose the weight. But certain amount of healthy fats are needed, and certain amount of for proper functioning of our hormones and unsaturated fat for our heart and brain functioning, omega 3s, all these things I already told in my macros video. You can check that out, link is in the description after watching this. Another example of a complete protein meal is cooked brown rice and red bell pepper, green bell pepper. If we add carrot in it, cup of chana into it, and 1/4 cup of rajma and 1/4 cup of brown rice. 31 gram protein in it, 61 gram of carb in it, and 11 gram of fat in it. There is 12 grams of fiber in it, in this entire meal. So in brown rice there is theronine, low level of lysine, which is one of the amino acid of proteins, and rajma there is lysine, valine, leucine, and in white chana there is isoleucine, lysine, methionine, phelanine, threonine, tryptophan and valine. And in kaju there is lysine, histidine, theronine, valine, isoleucine, leucine, phenylalanine. In one thing, there are not all proteins. In rajma only certain amount of lysine, valine is there. But when we are combining other foods with it, like white chana and carrot, bell pepper, kaju, that vegetarian source also is also becoming complete source of protein, because lot of variety of vegetarian foods we are combining it and having it together, so its biological value that is there, that's increasing. So let's now discuss about this protein structure that is like actually present in our body. When we eat a certain food and that structure forms, or a protein structure that's like already present. The structure of protein is based on the sequence that is there in it, that certain protein that's found. Sequence of amino acid that's present in that protein determines the structure, the shape of that protein. We mix one amino acid with another amino acid, it completely changes the structure of it. Secondary protein, localized shape of protein that we need to be familiar with is alpha helix or beta plated sheath. Carbonyl group of one amino acid and NH group of another amino acid. There is a hydrogen bond that's present, that's helping in stabilizing that alpha helix and that beta sheath. Tertiary structure. It has a 3D folding of that certain pattern of it. It has one individual subunit of that protein. Alpha helix and beta plated sheath that present, there is a striated chain. Combine multiple structures like this, we create a quaternary structure. So this primary, secondary, and tertiary are like insides of that quaternary structure of that protein. They are like smaller subunits of quaternary structure basically. You can call it like that too. And it has two alphas and two betas in it. Are the four individual subunits in that quaternary structure. Sources and how fast are they getting absorbed in our body? So first, a protein is um, building block of amino acid. Building block of a protein is something that builds muscle, helps in growth of our hair and our nails, but it's built like a lot of amino acids form a protein. Discussing about types of amino acids, first let's discuss the structure of that particular protein or structure of that amino acid bonds that are there. Amino acid represented by a circle is a monomer that forms protein. Amino acid is represented by a circle and it's a monomer that forms that protein in it. Between them there is a bond that is known as peptide bond between each amino acid that's present that's forming that protein. It has carbon with hydrogen attached to it. Group and NH group, that's R carboxyl group. Amino acids that are present, they react with each other and this is known as condensation reaction. H2O that is present, like two hydrogen atoms and one oxygen atom, when those two amino acids are like reacting, they are lost. That H2O water molecule is lost. Those two amino acids are connected into one molecule. Is lost, like even in our body when we feel like too much thirsty, like when we go out and run a lot, they tell us that we get dehydrated, right? So dehydration is basically happening in this reaction, and after dehydration is happened, those two nitrogen bonds and one oxygen molecule, they are like combined N2, and when they are combined like that, bond is basically being formed after this between those two amino acids. Carbon and nitrogen, a bond is formed. Peptide bond making a covalent bond there. Happens when a lot of amino acids are like bonded together and they form like a chain in a protein thing. When it's formed, this is what's happening in between those amino acids that I've just explained you. So now let's get into types of amino acids. In types of amino acids, first there are essential amino acids. Amino acids cannot be made by the body. They come from food. Essential amino acids like this: histidine, isoleucine, leucine, lysine, phenylalanine, threonine, and valine. Isoleucine, valine that are there in this 9 essential amino acids are most important of all. And when these 9 essential acids are together in that certain food like chicken breast or whey protein, it becomes complete protein. General health of muscle stimulates protein synthesis. This is protein breakdown. It helps in formation of hemoglobin and it also produces red blood cells. Leucine and valine are grouped together as branch chain amino acids. Non-essential amino acids that our body produces are alanine, paragenine, arginine, aspartic acid, cysteine, glutamine, glutamic acid, glycine, and proline, and serine, and tyrosine. And another thing is conditional amino acids. Conditional amino acids are not essential except for the time of like illness when we have it or when we have stress. They are arginine, cysteine, glutamine, tyrosine, glycine, arginine, proline, and serine. When we eat a certain protein food like an egg or a chicken breast or paneer, first step that happens in our mouth is pre-digestion. That is chewing of that food. And after that we chew that food, in a saliva that's present in our salivary glands helps in swallowing that food, and it slowly passes through our esophagus. That's done by stomach wall muscles is digestion. And after that, chemicals, that's done by acids that are present in stomach is also digestion, but it's chemical digestion, and that muscular wall thing is mechanical digestion. Stomach releases gastric juices that is known as hydrochloric acid and pepsin that helps in digestion of that protein. Muscular contraction that is known as peristalsis and relaxation of walls in our intestine. Creating wave-like motion to push the food that's present forward. Contraction and stuff happens, that food that's present in it, moves forward, and this is known as chyme. Acidity of stomach causes food proteins to denature. Natural qualities of unfolding the 3D structure. It's polypeptide, organic polymer consisting of large number of amino acids. Form that protein molecule. Step of that chemical digestion. Protein gets denatured, that second tertiary structure alters that peptide bonds. Primary structures that are present and they are intent. Structural levels of protein determine its function, as the structure is like completely like broken, almost like separated. The protein can't perform its function now. Denatured. Before only I told you, right, like how H2O is dehydration occurs when two amino acids are there, and the peptide bonds like get them together. Peptide bonds get the aminos together. Accessible by enzymatic digestion that is done by pepsin. Breaks peptide bonds, creating shorter polypeptides. Like take longer digestion than carb, but lesser digestion time than fat, because fat has like 9 calories per gram, protein and carb have 4 calories per gram. That thing I already said in my macros video. For chemical mixing is longer than carb but lesser than fat. Is more, and time for sufficient breakdown is also more. For making it full for longer period of time, and it remains in our stomach, making us feel fuller for a longer period of time, and this is known as satiety effect. That's the reason when we eat more protein, we don't feel as much hungry as when we eat like fried rice or something. If we eat like a lot of chicken breast, we don't feel too much hungry, right? And if we eat more egg whites, we don't feel that much hungry, because there for the chemical digestion it takes longer period than carb but lesser than fat, and it remains in the stomach for a long period of time, so it creates a satiety effect. There's there in stomach, it goes to small intestine. Digestion happens in small intestine, as there it has more enzymes for further breakdown of polypeptides. Two major pancreatic enzymes that are digesting proteins, chymotrypsin, trypsin activates protein digesting enzymes, proteases. Breakdown of tripeptides, dipeptides, and amino acids happens there. In small intestine, enzymes that contribute to enzymatic digestion. Peptides. These tripeptides, dipeptides, aminos enter enterocytes of small intestine using active transport system that requires ATP. Tripeptide dipeptide is broken down to amino acids and into bloodstream. If body has enough glucose and other sources of energy, amino acids used in protein synthesis for cells that are around the body, making non-essential amino acids for protein synthesis and making other nitrogen containing compounds, or it is rearranged and stored as fat. This happens when there is already enough energy from carbohydrate that's present and there is more protein than required. Rearranged into glucose as fuel for brain for RBC, metabolized as fuel for immediate source of ATP. To use amino acid for making ATP glucose fat, nitrogen removed through deamination. This occurs in livers. So the first thing is, if there is not enough energy present in our body, then the protein amino acid is used as energy. This happens when it's rearranged into glucose for fuel for our brain in RBC, and it's metabolized as fuel for immediate source of ATP. The deamination, removal of amino group from molecule. This occurs in kidney. N2 released as ammonia as it's toxic. In liver. From liver it secretes urea. From urea it goes to kidneys, and after that it goes off as urine. Urea goes out as nitrogen out of the body. That's it for the video, guys. Part and absorption part of protein and how the waste product is also removed, that also I covered in this.